Hello, welcome to Sheepdog Says. I'm Sheepdog, and you wouldn't believe the start I try and have every night on these videos. I sit down, set up and everything, and my dog decides at that moment every night to go and have a drink, have a quick walk around the kitchen, sit back down, scratch herself so that her collar goes ding, 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 ding. She pants for a bit, she just kind of makes a load of noise. I say her name, and then she finally goes quiet enough for me to record. I think she's built a routine around it. She sees me set up and she decides I'm thirsty, I need to make loads of noise. But honestly, it's I might start just pressing play and letting you hear it, because I just, some days I'm like, stop please. Today I was just shaking my head and laughing at her. I wanted to do a video today about the best way to word it would be confidence, I guess. It's something that loads of people will say, oh, I don't know how you do that. I don't have the confidence to do that. A friend of mine said to me, I can't believe you've sat and you've spoken into a camera for over 100 videos. You know, that's really cool, all of these sorts of things. And something happened today that made me think, I wasn't always like this and I wasn't always good at it, and it just kind of came on over time. What triggered it today was that I was going to get my lunch at work, and this is a little bit lame and it's Pokemon related, but hear me out. There's a new raid boss out, Reg Ice, and my son was excited about going to catch one later today. Unfortunately, sorry, there wasn't any raids, but I was out on my lunch break, I parked up and I saw there was a raid on. I was frantically trying to park my car so that I could get out, because I could see there were 8 people preparing to go into it. But I didn't know whether the 8 meant they were already in, or whether it meant they were queuing and someone else could join. And I could see this group of people huddled outside a chemist. And I just thought, I can either ask them if they're about to go in, or I can just watch them all go in and then not do it and sulk off on my way. So I got out of the car and I just switched my brain off, I think, because I just suddenly went, are you guys going into the raid? And one of them just said, yeah, but there's only 7 seconds left on the countdown. And I was like, sorry guys, I can't get my phone, I can't get logged in that quick. And one of them just kindly said, well, it's all right, we'll all jump out and then we'll restart the clock and we'll all go back in. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, fine. So I went in, joined the group, just stood there chatting with 8 absolute strangers. I've never seen him before in my life. I'll probably see him again out and about because they work in the same area as me. But we just all stood there chatting about the raid that we were doing, just going about the business of that. It finished, we all went our separate ways. I noticed midway through that it wasn't just these random 5 or 6 lads that were doing it. There was like this old couple, bless them, who were in there. They must have been over retirement age. God, I hope they never see this and then reveal that they were younger, but they looked retirement age. They were dressed in casual clothes, although it was Friday. And it was amazing thinking how the game was appealing to people of all ages, because there was quite a, range between the group. But yeah, I just stood there for what must have been 10 minutes of my break, having a chat with these strangers, went off about my way, and I thought to myself, I would have never, ever done that when I was younger. I think the game has really made it more friendly for people to just ask, but I would never, I reckon 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have never done that. I felt like a freak going to arranged raids with people and talking to those people while I was there, but it feels like the confidence is there. I just don't care. If they'd have said, yeah, sorry mate, we're in, I'd be like, all right, let me know next time, maybe in the Discord group or whatever, if you're in it, that sort of thing. I'd have made an effort to kind of pre-arrange maybe in future. What I was thinking about was then, echoing in my head, was me when I was in year 9, maybe 10 at school, so I would have been 15, roughly, and we had this teacher called Mr. Broom. He was a Welsh man. I used to have, I don't think I can do it anymore, but I used to do this brilliant impression of him because he had this really thick Welsh accent. And he used to go, "Alright," all the time when he was telling people off. He'd go, "Alright, get out of that cupboard." He'd call everyone a clown. So he'd be like, "You clown." And that doesn't really sound like a good accent, but that is pretty much the way he would talk. And one day, I think somebody in the class had thrown something at me. And he asked me who done it, and I just said, I don't know. And he was like, you do know, and because you're not telling me, I'm going to give you a detention. And I said, I don't know, and fine, whatever. And so then he gave some other people a detention as well, because he thought that they were probably the people that had done it. And those people were like, thanks for not, dobbing us in. And I was like, you only threw something, it's not the end of the world. I didn't actually feel like I'd had any harm done. And I remember him pulling me to one side in front of one of my mates and basically saying to me, Your problem is you've got no self-confidence. You're not confident. You don't stand up for yourself. He started giving me this berating of just, you need to stand up for yourself, be more confident, be your own person. And I remember just thinking, okay. And on the way out, my mate said to me, he thought it was hilarious because in his eyes, I was the loudest person he knew. I was the most bold and outgoing, boisterous person he knew. I was the loudmouth who always used to shout something out or be noisy or whatever. And that was always my role in my group of friends. You know, we'd be driving along as teenagers, like 18, 19, when one of my mates had got a car, and I'd be the idiot just making a noise out the window at someone or just doing something stupid or whatever. Just always the silly, like, loud one who just, I don't know, there's always like a joke, I think it was The Simpsons who had a whole montage of like Bart and Milhouse doing pranks, and one of them would always be the one going, ah, really loud. And that'd always be just me, constantly the loud one. And I think, really, up to a point, that was just my way of sounding confident in a position where I was absolutely not. I was confident in that group. My mates, I remember one day shouting something down the road at someone who's being an idiot, and he turned around like a blooming Terminator cyborg and just walked towards our group and just started scanning everyone. And I mean, that happened, actually. I started off telling one story, and that's gone off to about 3 or 4 stories now in my head. I did this so many times growing up that I never learned my lesson, but one day I did it, and this bloke come over and just started having a go at us all, and then he went off on his way. Another time, this bloke was being a weirdo on a bus, and as we got off the bus, I shouted after the bus as it pulled away. Never been more scared in my life, and this is a bit of a tangent from what I was coming from, but this guy opened the emergency exit of the bus, just flopped out of the door onto his side, stood up, and just started coming towards, and that was genuinely, like, in my head, maybe my head's making him more Terminator-like, but everyone I was with darted in different directions. I went and joined a queue for a club and was just like, and he came down and was looking between the people in the queue just like this. And I was getting closer to the front of this queue thinking there's a bouncer there. If anything starts, I'll be okay. And the bloke was just scanning up and down, looking, and then off he went. And I think that was probably the last time I did something like that because I was so scared. It made me realise that doing stuff for comedy was not worth it in that regard because I didn't have any way of backing myself up. I didn't have the confidence to stand up for myself in those sort of scenarios. I'm still stupid, I still do stuff like that, but that was all my confidence was, and this teacher had seen through that. He knew that, yes, I was a loudmouth, yes, I was the sort of person who shouts silly things, but ultimately I had no confidence in myself, and that was something I needed to fix. Now, I must admit, when I left college and went into the adult world, I mentioned before, I got a free flat with a job I did, and I didn't do anything. I just wasted away for 1.5 years. It was pathetic. And then I decided I wanted to do something worthwhile and train to be a nurse. When I did the course on that, quickly realised whilst I was fine talking to the patients and the doctors and the nurses and doing the job, I sucked at the course when it come to doing presentations in front of a room full of people. And just kind of standing up and saying, this is what I know, this is what I can do, this is who I am, listen to what I've got to say because I'm good or whatever. And so that always held me back because they'd ask us to put together a presentation about something we'd researched, and I'd just sit at the back and just be like, yeah, whatever. And I might have handed in a couple of notes for the talk or done some research, but I'd just be like, yeah, whatever, you see you later. And then I always feel a bit unworthy of any grade the group got because I'd basically stood at the back worried about talking. And that was kind of a thing for me. I mean, I got jobs on phones where I was okay talking to people, but you never saw them. I was okay if I was in the right to make a point. I was a bit of a keyboard warrior in the complaints department, or I'd be a good phone warrior for arguing with people about complaints. But other than that, again, I didn't really have confidence to kind of do much. And then when I did my next uni course, when I did IT, we had a kind of weird click of just, I was doing presentations with Kev and a few other people in our group. And Kev had made this decision that he was going to turn up to every presentation in a suit because I think he decided he didn't want to look like a student. He wanted to look like he knew what he was on about, he was owning it, and people needed to listen. So I just went with that. I was like, fine, suit, I'll do that. I'll go in a suit. And I used to just talk at them. And I think his words were something along the lines of, he was just going to show off how awesome he was, and that was going to get him the good grade. And I just thought, I'm just going to stand up and do that. I'm just going to show off. I've learned it all. I know it all. I think the topic was probably more I can't think of the right word, like it was the topic I knew, it stuck in my mind better. But every presentation I would just stand up and I would just talk to them, and they'd ask me a question and I'd already have prepared an answer, and I just knew I had it nailed, and I just didn't care. I would just go kind of almost out of body with it and just present it and know it was fine and it'd always go well. And then obviously we started doing podcasts and stuff like that. And just like these videos, the first few are just, they're trashy. You kind of just getting them out of your system almost. It's like you're just, you know, doing the videos. It was like, if I just keep talking, eventually I'll get in a habit where I can just press play and that's it, I'm talking, and there's no and sometimes that does happen. I noticed in my 100th episode video that I did, because I was really trying to think about what I was saying at the start, I kept umming and ahhing, whereas I don't think I do it that much in these videos. I think I've done it a little bit. I sensed I did it a minute ago because I said the word, but it's not something that's as prevalent now because I'm used to it. And you look at someone like Kev, who's done like over 1,000 videos, and I imagine he probably doesn't at all in his normal just monologues that he does. But that kind of came really well after a little while. With the podcast, they're all smooth. I started doing the teaching. I started teaching lessons to students before I decided I wanted to be a teacher, and just realising that they would just take anything I said as granted made life just seem easy. My daughter's the same. And once I knew that anything I said to her was just true because she didn't know any different, I kind of thought, that makes me feel like I can't go wrong, because if I make a mistake, I can just say, do you know what, I'm sorry, I've made a mistake there, I'll tell you the real answer. And they don't know that that's weird. If I said that to an adult, they might go, oh, I'm not sure about his confidence. If this was me talking about, I'm going to tell you how to fly a plane, and then I was like, wow, don't press that button, that's the button that crashes the plane, I'm sorry I made that mistake, you're going to go, oh, I'm not going to listen to him. Whereas students would be like, okay, don't press the crash button, press the right button, and they'd just go with you. They did. And so it made getting into teaching really simple, because you just, again, first probably 50 times that I did it, I was probably a mess. I remember standing up in front of a class and not having a clue what they told me I needed to do, not having any clue about the topic. You know, there's times when a student was just nagging me about something, and I was thinking, I can't focus, there's too much going on. My brain was just all over the place. I think I almost fainted because I was just so dizzy and messed up. And it's just weird to think you just get that out of your system and it just goes. I was watching my colleague teach earlier. He was teaching us about networking, and again at the start of that he was just like, I'm going to teach you about this, and then he's like, but I need to, and I thought, I bet if he did this like 5 or 6 times, we'd walk in and he'd just be like, right, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going. And so I guess the point of my video is, if you're not confident in things and you're worried about doing videos, podcasts, teaching, being confident about anything at all really, first things first, just don't care. Don't worry about it. When I did MGPX, which is our Mature Gamer Live Expo, I remember being slightly nervous about standing up on stage. And at the time, Kevin was just like, this is no different from talking on the podcast. It's no different from doing our presentations at uni. This is fine. And I mean, I maybe, if nervousness could be measured out of 10, I was probably only a 2 or a 3 on the scale out of 10. I wasn't that fussed. But the second we just started the music, I was just like, it's like you go out of body. My brain just starts doing it. I'm not looking at anyone in the crowd. I'm not looking at what's going on. Like right now, I'm not looking at anything really. I know the camera's there somewhere and I'm just talking. And I'm not thinking about what's going on the screen. I'm not looking around the room. If my wife walked in, I'd carry on talking. I'd probably start smiling out the corner of my mouth because I know she was there. But I'm not sat here consciously thinking about everything I do. I look back at a video sometimes and I think, I don't remember saying that, or I don't remember doing that, or I don't remember that bit where I just suddenly started waving my arms around, because at this point, I'm not really in control. It's just doing it itself. Like, I'm somewhere else. The confidence is just there now that I know that I'm not going to say anything ridiculous. You know, I'm not going to just suddenly start freaking out and dropping F-bombs and stuff, because I know that that's not going on in my head. So it's just weird. Obviously it comes with practice, but some of it just comes with letting yourself run loose and getting the first rubbish ones out of your system. It's like blowing out the cobwebs. You just get used to it. I imagine people who do the news and have been doing it for like 10 years, they probably walk in. I mean, I know this is the case actually, and we always joke about it in a reference point. And the weirdest thing is, Kev references it more than I do, and he wasn't there. But when I was younger, I went and saw Des and Mel, Des O'Connor and Mel Sykes do a presentation. Not presentation, it was Des and Mel live on ITV. Sorry, what am I saying? Get my words mixed up. It was just a TV show where they just talk about the day and whatever. And when I got there, I think they'd just started the programme. It hadn't been on for very long. And Mel Sykes is sat there with pen and pad, doing all his paperwork, reading through notes, asking people questions, running around, preparing. You know, the show wasn't recording till like 10 o'clock. This was 9:30, and she'd just been running around. She'd probably been in makeup for hours, whatever. About 5, we had a warm-up guy come out, and he'd done all his bit. And about 5 minutes beforehand, Des O'Connor walked out. Someone ran up and put a microphone on him, and as they're putting a microphone on him, he just goes, "What day is it?" And they're like, it's Thursday, Des. "Who's our first guest?" And they're like, "Oh, whoever it was." "Right, okay." And then he just, "Hello everyone," just starts telling jokes to the crowd, and he just sits down, and he's like, "Hello, welcome to Des and Mel, I'm Mel, and I'm Des, blah, 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 blah." And I just thought, obviously, if he's been sat outside preparing, then he's a genius, because he looks like the master now. It changed my world watching him do that. But I'm 99.9% sure that he'd probably just been sat on the toilet, texting, reading on the phone, whatever, messing around, and then he'd just basically walked out on set and been like, "What day is it? I don't even know. Where am I? What show is this? I've got to be on an island somewhere tonight. Come on." But he was so polite and cool about it, but he just knew he'd done it a billion times. He knew he couldn't mess up, he couldn't go wrong. Because even if he did, the worst thing that would happen is it would either get edited out because it was TV, or he'd just laugh it off, and that's just the thing now. I like the fact that I've kind of gone down the route of being a bit of a numpty, a bit of a moron in some of my videos, but obviously, or you know, in the podcast, I always just come out with nonsense. None of that's planned, but I don't really care. I know that if I did anything that stupid, A, we could edit it, but B, I'm just not going to. I have said ridiculous things in the past on the podcast. They're quite rare ones now. Stuff about the Pope annoyed me one year when he'd come to the UK, and it cost us millions and millions to sort it out. Said a few things whilst drunk that I probably regret. But it's like, you know what? None of it was illegal. None of it was horrific. You know, I'd let my own mother hear it, although she's quite laid back, so that's probably not a testament to anything. But you know what I mean? It's just like, whatever. So that's how you be confident. You just stop worrying and get on with it. And it's probably not that helpful. But if anyone ever wants genuine tips or has questions, let me know. Because I feel like it's something that it's hard to explain beyond just crack on, really. Do it a couple of times and you'll find it eventually. But sorry, I'm waffling on now. I wasn't trying to be all self-helpy and, oh, I'm a guru, I know what I'm talking about. I don't. It just come out in my head because I was reminded of Mr. Broom telling me that I wasn't a confident person. I was reminded of Des O'Connor and his awesome confidence. And I kind of thought I can actually pinpoint the point where I started just not caring. And that was pretty much when Kev told me to wear a suit and just show him how awesome I was. And that was sound words. And I think that's probably what Des O'Connor did. Stuck a suit on and showed us how awesome he was. So maybe Des O'Connor has been speaking to Kev, or maybe Kev has stolen Des O'Connor's life plan, and that's why he keeps referencing it. Maybe I've uncovered something there. I've really lost the thread of what I was saying there, but learn to be confident. It makes a big difference, and it is worth just small steps in building up, because you will get to a point where you're just up there doing what you want to do. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Let me know your thoughts, questions, whatever. Yeah. Give me examples of people like Des O'Connor that have blown you away with their weird, just insane confidence that makes you think that person, like 'em or love 'em, like 'em or love 'em, like 'em or loathe them, I was trying to say, like 'em or like 'em a lot. You can't deny that the guy has confidence, basically, is what I'm saying. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, let me know your suggestions. Just respond. I like the comments. I appreciate reading them. Thanks very much.